when you're in a story map, if you've seen going to the thing, it's a clean looking web page. It's a fixed template. So those of you who are sticklers about your design, you're going to be upset because you can't do a lot. If you give them money, you can do a lot more. But for free, you only get to use their fixed template. Their fixed template has an image at the top, a title, a subtitle. It has a place you can put introductions. Then you can put images, whether they're maps or whatever. Then you can make a map. This is called a fixed map, where I think they call it quick map or something like that, but it's not a navigatable map. Then they have something called immersives, which are when you move from a point, you can see this is point one, and I scroll down, it moves to point two, it moves to point three, right? So these 3 points represent you're moving through a map. These could be 100 points, but the design you'll do there. And then when you get past the immersive, it has things like credits. So how does this work? Let's go back to the editing process. And we'll just start another one. I think this gets me back here. When you enter into your version of this, you're not going to have anything here. It's going to be empty. And the way you create a project is you do create a story. It will then launch the story creator. And this is where, if you've done your work on your template, you'll simply go back and hide and copy paste to create your map. Now, you could, of course, be doing this in the material, but in this case, I'm like, okay, I want this to go here. And so now I have that part. And then it says add a cover image. Well, you may have that someplace already in these places. You could be got Giphy and Unsplash. I mean, that, or you could even have a link to one. Or usually these are things that you've created a file for. So, you know, I'll put this one here as the top one. Add. So it's just uploading the image, putting it into place. So that's just, you know, like I said, for better or worse, that's what you get at the beginning is a cover image. This could be video too. But if you use video, as you'll find out, you have to have the video in YouTube. And we'll talk about whether you feel bad about that or not. But otherwise, the file has to be super small, under 50 megabytes, which almost no video file is under 50 megabytes. But once you've started here, then everything else emerges from this plus sign. And it says add content block. When I click on this, I have all sorts of content blocks. I can have text. I can have a button. I can have cute little separators, create lines. I can even put in HTML code. I can throw a table in there if I'm doing something wonky with tables. Image, I can do an image gallery, which has a bunch of images. I can do video, audio, once again, embed. I can do one of those before and after swipes where you have a history image or some other kind of image. You can even do something called timeline, which is a chronology thing. So these are all things you can add. Getting down to the thing that I said is a slideshow, immersive. Generally, the immersive we tend to use in this workshop is Map Tour. You'll get there, and when you try some of the others, you'll see some of what the limitations are, and you'll say, no, I think you're right. Map Tour is better. And again, you'll see that it has things that have diamonds by it. That means give me money. Give me the diamonds. And there's where the express map is. So in this case, you know, for my design, I wanted to have an introductory sentence. And actually, I should have put the title to that first. So I'll go ahead and do text. And, well, we'll use paragraph. I'll put the thing I just grabbed. Come on, what you got? Text and paste. Here's that. And then what I'll make this is text, but I'll make it a title. And you'll see why that's important in just a second. So I'm going to go steal the word introduction, not a very fancy title. Where was it? One of these guys. I guess I have to do it again. Text, title, and paste. That doesn't look right. That should be nice and big. That's a paragraph. I want it to be heading 1. There it is. So that's the way that would look. I have to go get rid of some of these things. Which I thought I do by going up. There you go. So this, again, it works more or less like a word processor. So I'm just continuing the design going, I want that to be higher. There you go. So that's what these plus signs represent. And then I'll show you the one other one that we talked about is if I wanted to do an express map. An express map allows me to sort of say, if I want to go look for Bryce Canyon, I don't really want the city. I want Bryce Canyon. Will it just give me Bryce Canyon, Utah? There, Garfield County. I guess that'll get me there. And I can zoom in and I can change the way the map looks. So I can add to map. And then I can, have an image that pops up with that map. So I'll just throw this other one in here. And again, this allows me to do things like create an area. Say, I'm imagine this is, come on, Bryce Canyon. I'm obviously not doing this formally. I can do trails. Let go. If I want to say, take the trail from here to here to here. Let go. I can add additional points. And again, if I had a version of view on this, which is different than the one I'm seeing, I'm going to place the map for a second. That looks like a little smiley face, doesn't it? It's kind of cute. But again, I should be able to get a different view of this. Let me edit this one more time. Draw features. This is where I want the look. There it is. I want human geography. I'm going to do real world so it looks like the mountains somehow. There it is. Yeah, I kind of got in the middle of Bryce Canyon. I did that well. But again, you can imagine that the quick draw is just sort of, you want a fixed map, as opposed to the immersive, which is this idea of a map tour where the points, you see it, if you want a guided and you want it to be map focused, you have to have money. You have to give money, which is what that diamond's about. But otherwise, this works just like the other ones. So if I go down a sub-image and I want my first point on the map to be this place, because it's inside Bryce Canyon, I'm using the latitude, longitude, international numbers to give me that point. So I go add location. I put that longitude and latitude in there. It says there, I'm right at the top of this thing. All of this to me is amazing. I add it to the map. I say, I want to do it at this level of zoom, which is called buildings. So I'll leave that there. Then inside of this, I can add the things that come from here. So we're calling this the Navajo Trail Loop. And I realize, this gets a little bit confusing, but I hope you get the idea that once you've done your work of organizing your material as a sort of, script, then you can begin to create the media related to this. And in this case, I'm going to use a link to have this relate to this video. So again, I have uploaded my file into YouTube. I've made it an unlisted YouTube file. I've then added this link in here. And now I have the media related to that. I can go back, I think, and do, that's not what I want. That's the edit button. You can tell I'm not much into this look of human geography light. I prefer kind of real video. So now when we see it here, you can almost see the parking lot, right? The first stop is the parking lot. Then when I want to add the next point, and I'm only going to do these two because I told you we'd be done and take a break now because you guys have been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes and it's too much. I'll quickly do the second point just so you can see it. This one, I'll do this one. So I'm going to add a point, add location, put the next step in, add the map, use the same zoom level. In this case, I'll go back one so we can kind of see where we're going. And then I'm doing the same thing where I'm saying, well, I want this to be called American Indian Perspectives. And then the subtitle, or description rather, learn more. And then I'll add that video just so you can see. And again, these can be images or videos, or even there's a way to do audio. But I think, you know, for the most part, the easiest is the video. So we've now added this. I'm going to go ahead and publish this or preview it. So you can see, you know, we've recreated the same sort of thing you saw before. Is there's title, introduction, the stupid looking map I made, and then these two connections. You know, this one is one, there's two. You know, this, you don't really see the motion that well here. So I might have wanted to go back and make the edit so you could sort of see where one is in relationship to two. So if I go back and I just step backwards, right, to edit. Whoop. Yep. And I decide that I actually zoomed in too much on this point. There I can see both of them. Black on that. Current location. Usually I want to, oh, that's a map appearance. That's not what I want. Anyway, I'm gonna stop because but you get the idea. Is that if I didn't like how far zoomed in, oh, there it is, edit location, and it's this thing, zoom level. So instead of going that level, I'm going to go back there so I can see both of them, and then I do done. So then when I move from point one to point two, I can sort of see the motion. I can't quite. Yeah, you see it a little better, like I'm moving downhill. But that's, again, the part of this process is fairly straightforward, but it can get endlessly elaborate, as you've seen on some of the examples. You can have videos in there setting up the whole thing. You can, you know, design this in ways. And it's just a great presentation format for particularly a more elaborate project that talks about a lot of different issues.